Hey guys, this is TF Lego 98, and today I will be reviewing all three of the Transformers Kingdom Fossilizers. First up is Paleotrex, and I feel like this design is definitely my favorite out of all three of the Fossilizer. I just really like this sort of foldable battle mask, and also this sort of size looking thing on the shoulder. But there's one negative. The hands aren't really hands. You can't really hold anything in this section. It's the 5mm port is kind of in the wrist, which is kind of weird. But other than that, I think the paint job and the weathering effect, it all looks really good. And one thing that I thought was pretty cool, you can take Optimus Primal, just rip off his head, or not Optimus Primal's head, rip off Paleotrex's head, and then just insert it into Optimus Primal's hand, and you can get his original Beast Wars Toys mace, which I think is really cool, but pretty much everyone knows about this at this point. In terms of articulation, the head can look up, look down that far, no tilt, can swivel all the way around. This visor can flip up and down if you want it to. The shoulders can swivel all the way around, 90 degrees out on both shoulders. And the elbow can bend over 90 degrees. They can rotate at 2 points, rotate at here or rotate at this port. And you also get a wrist rotation, and the fingers can bend. You get a waist rotation, rotates all the way around. Legs kick forward that far, backwards that far, out that far, swivel at the thigh, swivel at the knee, bends 90 degrees. You also get this weird hinge joint, but there is no ankle rocker, but it is molded. This section is molded at a slight hinge, so at a slight tilt, so you can sort of simulate ankle rocker motion. So yeah, articulation on Paleotrex is pretty good. For accessories, Paleotrex comes with its tail tip, and you can just plug it into the weird wrist port, and you can have it as a sort of chain sword, which I think is pretty cool. Transformation is not really much of a transformation. The first step is you just disassemble the whole thing, and then you're going to want to take this T-Rex head, just plug the robot mode head in here like so, and then tab these together. Take this section, plug it into the port, and then take this part, rotate it around like so, and just take this port, tab it into that peg, like that, and then just fold it over and do the same thing on the other side. And then you're going to want to take this chest piece and just sort of tab it in. Can be a little difficult at times, like so. And then you're going to want to take these two pieces, pour them in like so and so. And then you're going to want to take the robot mode arms, tab them into the bottom of these pieces, like that, straighten the whole connection out, and then take this section, plug it into the back, and then take this tail tip and plug it into the back of the tail. Here is Paleotrex in the T-Rex fossil mode, and I think this mode looks really cool. Pretty anatomically accurate, other than the fact that the spine isn't straight. It has this weird curve like that, but it doesn't actually look too bad. It does have these tiny little T-Rex arms and the 3 toes. In terms of articulation, in this mode, jaw can open super wide. It can go 90 degrees pretty much. The head, it can't really move that much. It can only move at this joint, up and down. The T-Rex arms have a ball joint at the base, like so they can move all the way around. The hips go all the way around, and be careful not to pop them off. This hinge joint can go this far in and all the way up. There is this joint here you can use if you want to, and there is also this hinge joint here, rotation here, another rotation below, and then a hinge joint here and a hinge joint here. For the tail, there is a rotation here, a hinge here, and then another rotation here. So in terms of articulation, this fossil mode is actually quite good. And an interesting thing I found out is that if you take the T-Rex Megatron mold, I have the Jurassic Park crossover version, these two actually kind of line up a little bit. If you sort of hunch it over, they sort of line up, which I think is actually pretty cool. Second up, we have Ractinite, which is the second of the Fossilizers. I sort of do like this design, but I think this torso area is a bit too blocky, but that's just my personal preference. In terms of details, this torso is basically just made out of the Styracosaurus ribcage, and the shoulder is made out of the Styracosaurus head, which actually looks pretty cool. One thing that I don't really like about this figure is it doesn't actually have any hands. It just has this port on both sides, so it can use the tail weapon. And this is removable. It is the only accessory, unfortunately. In terms of articulation, it is pretty good. The head, like Paleotrix, it does have this visor piece that can flip up or down. The head is on a ball joint, rotates all the way around, can look up not that far, down not that far. The shoulder rotates all the way around on both sides. There is a 360 swivel, double bend at the elbow, and at the hand there is this mushroom peg, well, not mushroom peg, 5mm peg, and this pretty much the same thing on the other side, except a lot more limited range outwards unless you untab this whole bit, and same articulation for the lower forearm. There is a waist rotation that goes all the way around, kicks forward that far, backward that far, out to the side that far, rotation below, bend at the knee 90 degrees, and the ankle can tilt inwards really far both ways, but it can't really go forward and back. So overall, articulation is pretty good. Just like Paleotrix, there isn't much of a transformation. So first thing you're going to want to do is just take this head and fold down the visor. Then you're going to want to take the Styracosaurus head and plug it into this port right here. Take the lower arms from the robot mode and just fold back this peg. Do the same thing on the other side, like so. And then you're going to want to take this piece, fold this out all the way, and then take the waist section and plug it in like so. I believe it's like this. Oh wait, it's the other way. Plug it in if it would plug in. Okay, plug it in like so. And then just take this port, take this peg and plug it into this port like so. Make sure the ribs or the spine is aligned properly. And then just take the legs, plug them into these parts. Take this, do the same thing, and then just take the tail tip and plug it into the section like so. And there you have the completed Styracosaurus skeleton alternate mode. One thing that I'm kind of confused by is that why didn't they choose to just go with the Triceratops? Triceratops is a lot more well-known dinosaur, and Styracosaurus is not nearly as well-known as the Triceratops, so I think that decision was a little bit weird. In terms of articulation for this mode, it is quite good. The head can turn all the way around, look up that far, down that far. The one place where it is kind of limited is the front shoulder. It can't go out anywhere. It can only swivel around, go forward not that far, and backwards that far. The elbow does bend around 90 degrees, and there is no foot articulation. But there is plenty of rear hip motion. It can go out that far, in that far, rotate here all the way around, bend at the knee, that is 90 degrees, and then the foot can also tilt 90 degrees in either direction. And then for the tail, it can't really go up, it can go down, and at this point it can go up and down and rotate all the way around. So our overall articulation is pretty good on this figure. Lastly, here we have Wingfinger, the last of the fossilizers to be released. One thing I did find a bit weird is how Wingfinger is a maximal, as you can see from his faction badge right here, but the other two fossilizers are Predacons, so that's a bit inconsistent. So for details, he does sort of have the whole pterodactyl head on the back. The wingtips become swords, and the shoulders are actually really narrow. It would make more sense if this was the waist and these were the shoulders, but once you get him posed, it does look a lot better than if you just have him standing static like this. The only two accessories that you get with this guy are these two wingtips that sort of act as swords. In terms of articulation, this guy's not too bad. The head can swivel all the way around, looks up not that far, down not that far. The visor can sort of close up. The shoulders go out and in, rotates all the way around. The bicep rotation also can go all the way around. There is also this 90-degree elbow joint and a swivel joint right here, and a 360-degree range of motion at the wrist. There is a waist swivel. The legs can kick up that far, backwards that far, outwards pretty much all the way. The knees can bend 90 degrees. You can swivel it here. And unfortunately, there is no ankle tilt, but the ankles can hinge up. And there is a toe bend right here. So overall, the articulation is actually pretty good. Just like the other two fossilizers, Wingfinger doesn't really have much of a transformation. So the first thing you're going to want to do is just rip him to pieces like so. And then you're going to want to take this. I already plugged it in. you're going to want to take this head and plug it into this piece, like so. Then you're going to want to take the shoulder assembly and then just tab the shoulders into the head. Do the same on the other side. And then what you're going to want to do is just take these lower arm sections and port them into here, like so. Then just take the lower body and then tab it into the upper body. Oops. It can be quite stiff, so you might have to use a lot of force to get it in, like so. And then you're just going to want to take the whole leg of the robot mode and then just sort of tab it in with this slot and tab, and then just plug it in like so. And then finally you just take the wingtips and plug them in like that, and then you can do the same thing on the other side. Oops. And I just realized it's the wrong way around, like so. And there you have the completed pterodactyl mode. So in terms of articulation for this mode, I think it is pretty good. The head can turn all the way around. You can sort of get it to look up. The jaw opens quite, oops, don't pop it off. The jaw can open quite a bit actually, all the way like so. But it can also sort of like lock into place here. And it also snaps into place right here. For the shoulders, go 360. Elbows bend over 90 degrees. At the wrists, they can go backwards that far. And over here at the knuckle, they can bend backwards that far. And for the legs, they kick forward that far, backwards a lot farther, and they can also swivel at 2 points, one here and another at here. So overall, the articulation for this mode is not too bad. And for a fossilizer comparison, here is Wingfinger with Paleotrex and Ractinite. As you can see, Paleotrex is still the tallest of all three of them. And here they are from a side perspective. So you can get a look at how large they actually are. So yeah, that pretty much ends my review of this set of 3 figures. Overall, I think they are really good. I will be doing a video on the combined mode in a few days. So yeah, that's about it for this video. Goodbye.